The morning of May 28th dawned ordinary for the hundreds of families arriving at the Cincinnati Zoo, unaware that a single moment would ignite global debate and heartbreak. Laughter and voices blended as parents and children entered gorilla world, anticipation buzzing in the air. Harambe, a powerful 17-year-old western lowland gorilla, stood near the glass. Curious onlookers pressed close, cameras at the ready. He weighed more than 400 pounds, commanding in presence, but those who knew him spoke of a patient, almost contemplative nature. Zookeepers described him as intelligent and measured, with the dignity of a silverback and a surprising gentleness. Yet, that day would prove that even the most majestic of creatures could become embattled in the blink of an eye. A little boy, curious, and perhaps captivated by Harambe's looming presence, wriggled free from his mother's grasp. In a split second, he tumbled over a low ledge small enough for a child, but no match for a 400-pound silverback, and fell into the moat below. Screams rose, parents scrambled, some froze in horror while others fumbled for their phones. For Harambe, this unknown intruder triggered primal instincts. The crowd's panic crescendoed into a chaotic symphony of frenzied voices. In that instant, two worlds collided. One of human anxiety, one of wild presence. Harambe descended into the moat, the boy's tiny form not yet fully visible amid the ripples and chaos. He paused, surveying this strange, naked human on the muddy floor of his enclosure. The tension was deafening. Then Harambe's massive hand reached down. Was he angry? Curious? Protective? Observers saw a gentle touch, a slow lift. The boy cried, but it wasn't immediate terror. The gorilla held him close for a moment before repositioning him, as if guiding him away from looming danger. Then, suddenly, Harambe grabbed him and pulled him through the shallow water. What looked like aggression was actually a method gorillas use to move their young primo, not malicious. As footage spread online, experts weighed in, and the world debated fervently. Jane Goodall, the esteemed primatologist, expressed heartbreak, emphasizing that Harambe's actions appeared curious rather than violent. She noted that gorillas sometimes react to unusual stimuli with strong but not hostile behavior. Animal behaviorist Jack Hanna pointed out that while Harambe did not seem to intend harm, the situation was fraught with danger because a 400-pound wild animal lacks the finesse to interact gently with a human child. Dr. Francine Dolans, a primate psychologist, added that such behavior is typical of a silverback, asserting control not to hurt, but to manage an unknown, unpredictable presence in his domain. The airwaves filled with technical breakdowns of gorilla posture, grip, prospects, and emotions. Meanwhile, zoo officials faced the kind of decision that haunts every person in authority. The boy was vulnerable, and Harambe's sheer strength was a ticking time bomb. Tranquilizer darts, the team knew, would take time, maybe 2 to 3 minutes to incapacitate a gorilla, and could provoke panic or aggression during that window. The boy's life hung in the balance. Time was not a luxury. Every heart stopped, watching Harambe raise the child. What was going through the gorilla's mind? Protective curiosity, reaction to crowd noise. The boy was retrieved and rushed to medical attention, physically unharmed, but emotionally affected forever. The zoo fell into stunned quiet. Visitors wept, some in relief, others in anguish. Then, dawn broke on the digital world. #Justice for Harambe exploded across social platforms. News outlets instantly pivoted to multi-camera analysis, picking apart every second of footage. The internet erupted in gore, sorrow, conspiracy, outrage spreading faster than any viral video before it. The death of Harambe became a global flashpoint. Voices rose. Was it the father's fault? The zoo's? Society's? The barrier was only about 3 feet high, anything but foolproof. Could the designers have foreseen this? Could more warning signs or better railings have prevented it? Petitions surfaced, demanding charges against the boy's parents, calling for criminal negligence. Others demanded charges against the zoo, accusing officials of overreaction. The discourse fractured. Some blamed humans, others blamed the creature. Some blamed both. It was an emotionally raw crossfire, fueled by grief and a longing for someone to be accountable. Experts leaned in again. Primate behavior studies noted that Harambe's body language contained protective signals. He positioned himself between the boy and the crowd, his arms partially outstretched. This suggests a defensive posture, guarding the child from perceived threats. Yet, his grip was firm, a reminder of his overwhelming power. Harambe had the mental inclination to protect. His actions were murky, but the potential for accidental harm loomed too large. Zoo director Thane Maynard described the situation as the hardest decision we've ever made, stating that lethal force was chosen only to save a child's life. But this explanation fell on varied ears. Some understood. Others refused to accept it. As the torrent of media coverage rolled on, public reactions splintered into emotion. Satire, fury, and tribute. Memes filled feeds, some somber, many absurd. Dicks Out for Harambe became the rallying cry for online mourners. T-shirts, art pieces, tribute videos popped up within hours. Songs were written, hashtags mute. Some viewers applauded the internet's ability to process tragedy via humor and art. Others criticized, labeling it insensitive. The rapid evolution from tragedy to internet phenomenon left many questioning how we mourn collectively in the age of social media. The harrowing questions didn't end. Zoo experts discussed the broader implications. How safe were enclosures worldwide? How could institutions prevent human error? How should they balance public engagement with safety? Emotionally raw voices from conservationists and animal welfare advocates questioned the very concept of captivity. Proponents argued that zoos play vital roles in species preservation and education. But critics noted that confinement itself produces stress and potential for catastrophe. Harambe's death was not the first or the last uneasy incident fueled by captivity's fragility. In the days and weeks that followed, the Cincinnati Zoo implemented upgrades, higher barriers, redesigned sightlines, more staff surveillance, and a new protocol for rapid response scenarios involving children. Informational signs were enhanced, clarifying rules and risks. Staff training was intensified, but the emotional reverberations of that morning lingered. An acrylic display now marks Harambe's presence, no plaques, just transparent acknowledgement of a life and a loss. Visitors often lay flowers, drop small tokens, or whisper stories to their children about the gorilla who died not in aggression, but perhaps in confusion. Months later, conferences were held. Wildlife experts shared case studies, comparing enclosures, safety measures, and edge cases. Ethics panels debated whether a child should be allowed anywhere near wild primates for entertainment. Documentaries analyzed split-second decisions in high-stress zones. University courses examined the incident in curricula on media, law, psychology, and ethics. Harambe's death became a living case file, probing leadership decisions, parenting obligations, animal psychology, and public trust. Throughout this turmoil, voices from the zoo remained candid. Thane Maynard spoke about shared responsibility. Visitors and staff alike bear the obligation to respect boundaries. The zoo's board convened to discuss global policy changes. By 2017, numerous American and European zoos published new visitor interaction guidelines. By 2018, visitor-held cameras were banned in some sensitive exhibits. A casual mention of Harambe still evokes a flurry of response. His heartfelt sorrow, ironic chuckles, lingering outrage. His name is spoken in ethics circles and meme forums, alike a dual legacy of existential reflection and cultural fodder. He is memorialized online and offline. Slack spaces, group chats, parkside plaques. In schools, lessons on empathy and responsibility touch on his story. In boardrooms, risk managers cite Harambe in presentations on worst-case scenario planning and crisis decision-making under pressure. And through it all, Cincinnati Zoo displays an exhibition titled Learning Through Loss. Interactive panels ask visitors, what would you have done? A simulated, safe space recreates the chaos, an option sentinel scenario. Child falls, respond with sedation drone, net rescue, or lethal force. Visitors engage, decide, reflect. It's painful, yes, but healing through understanding. Harambe's narrative has thus been repurposed as a tool to teach us about split-second moral choices, about the chasm between intent and outcome. Harambe's death, tragically necessary, also birthed conversations that might never have arisen without it. We engaged in uncomfortable truth-telling about zoo safety and our appetite for wildlife entertainment, about human error and accountability, about the cost of emotional attachment to animals, and the divide between virality and authenticity. The world asked itself whether a barrier is only as safe as our resolve to respect it. We asked whether the best intentions of animal conservation can create moments ripe with catastrophe when a child's curiosity meets a wild being. As you watch this, know that Harambe did not die in hate. He died amid fear and confusion. Human fear, animal instinct, the clash of worlds in an instant. He died to save a child we never saw. He died to remind us how fragile life and connection truly is. In those final seconds, he became unintended hero and tragic casualty, primeval force and cautionary tale. For a moment, he captured our hearts and our conscience, imploring us to do better, think deeper, and act more responsibly. This is the story you hold now. It's not just a flash on your newsfeed or a meme to be It's a question mark hanging over everyone who ever steps into a zoo, snaps a photo, or crosses a boundary. Harambe begs us never to forget. Empathy must meet vigilance. Wonder must walk with responsibility. And instinct must be met with preparation. The legacy he leaves, one of human humility in the face of nature, strength, and the conviction that our capacity to care must never outrun our capacity to protect. Share it with someone who believes in better stewardship of our planet, and subscribe to the Celebs Empire for more profound, thought-provoking stories. Let Harambe's life and loss continue to guide our shared journey toward empathy,